So what have you done when you've burnt a bridge in a relationship, only to realize later that you actually wanted or even needed that relationship? Well, you had to repair the bridge. Usually it took some humility, going back and saying, you know what, I made a mistake, I'd like to repair the damage to our relationship. You didn't go in demanding, here's how it's going to be, here's what I expect. It's not how it happened. Unfortunately, Gen Z, which is anyone between the ages of 14 and 28 right now, as a generation, has burned some bridges as they've entered the workforce. Not all of them, but a high percentage of them have, to the point where 40% of all employers right now won't hire another Gen Z employee. 60% of all employers have said they have fired a Gen Z in the last 30 days. And 74% of all employers say that Gen Z is the most difficult generation they've ever dealt with in the workplace by far. This generation has burnt some bridges, making it much more difficult for people who are looking to get a good job, keep a good job, and even grow past that job into a higher position, or move on and own their own business. It's made it much more difficult for Gen Z to enter the workforce or to even change jobs. So what do they do? Is there anything they can do? Is there anything you can do to help your children do well as they enter the workforce? Well, there is. There's three things. There's three things they can do to repair this bridge that's been damaged. The first thing is they need to approach their new job, their interview, whatever it is, with humility. Not to go in showing, here's how much I know, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to do this great stuff for you. Go in with humility, which leads us to number 2. Go in with the attitude of, I want to learn as much as I possibly can from people here who know more than I do. Go in wanting to learn. And number 3, be on time. Actually, do more than be on time. Be early. This sounds so simple, but the reality is, as a generation, Gen Z has been late for work far more often than any generation prior. It just seems that being on time is not a priority. And this is something that is highly frustrating to any employer. This is something that will set your son, your daughter apart very quickly as they go for a job interview, for their orientation, and as they make their way into a new job. This is why I wrote the book, Fill the Gap. How Gen Z can enter the workforce with competence and with confidence. It's a resource that you can put into the hands of your sons and your daughters to help them be prepared to succeed as they enter the workforce, and as they continue if they've already entered the workforce. It gives them the tools and the skills that they need to set themselves apart from a generation that's burnt a number of bridges. There's a book as well, Fill the Gap Parents Edition, that will give you the tools to help prepare your teens and preteens for when they enter the workforce. Go to www.youfillthegap.com and pick up your copies of Fill the Gap. Now there's 2 bonuses there that you're going to find as you go to my website, and make sure you keep your eyes open for them. You don't have to sign anything, you don't have to check any boxes. They come just because you purchase your copies of Fill the Gap. All the best as you put a resource into the hands of your sons, your daughters, to help set themselves apart from their generation that has burnt a number of bridges. They can be some of the ones who rebuild those bridges.